Oh, look, we're very small. We're just the weeest little things there.
We are the weeest little things there.
Now we're normal sized. Look at that.
Okay.
You get the full Monty now with us. Welcome to Hellbent Live. This is episode 125.
It's 125?
It's 125. Live 125.
Was that okay?
Can you believe we've done 125 of these? Actually, we've done more. I never named any of these special episodes. So we're over 125, but we have done 125 officially numbered and named episodes of Hellbent Holler Live.
It feels like we've been doing this for 10 freaking years.
10 years.
10 years.
10 years of Hellbent Live. Actually, I went through some old videos the other day, and yeah, it feels like more than 125 EDP. I agree. I went through some old videos the other day, and it was from 2021. And I was doing just a quick little social media video where I was saying, guys, we're almost to 1,000 subscribers. And I need you to subscribe. Tell your wife, your mother, your babysitter, tell everyone to subscribe to Hellbent Holiday so we can reach our 1,000 subscribers. That was nearly 4 years ago.
Wow. We kind of stopped on the big subscriber push. So
there's a reason for that.
Yeah, so
we've discovered that the big subscriber push it's a vanity metric.
Yeah.
So because here's the thing.
You get too many jackballs and too
many jackballs. A lot of you are subscribers and you still don't get notifications.
Okay, so
it's become the Wild West again over on the tubes of you. So, it comes down to it where I guess you just have to hope that you come across our video when you're scrolling on the main page. I know we've been out of the loop on YouTube for a while. We've been doing our live show. We didn't do it for the 2 weeks that we were out for that final push on me finishing that documentary. But we are back in the swing of things. We are getting back to our old tricks again. We're going to be uploading and putting out field investigation videos. Before we took this crazy hiatus for me to do this huge URI documentary for Small Town Monsters, which I'll get to that in 1 second, we'll talk about that a little more. Before I took a little hiatus to focus on that and put that together, we were doing a series on a new investigation area that we have been going into that we have dubbed Blackthorn Lake. Now, that is a code name for it. You're not going to find a map and pull up Blackthorn Lake on it. That is a code name for it that we're going to refer to it as. And it's a very interesting area that we have discovered is the site of multiple former plantations. There were homesteads out there. There's a beautiful, pristine lake out there. And we have been going out there pretty regularly, and we have a whole slew of investigations where it progressively gets weirder and weirder and weirder. And the things that we find out in Blackthorn get weirder and weirder. One thing that we definitely find is something is out there manipulating the environment in very, very remote areas of Blackthorn. Are you all right?
Yeah, I'm listening. You're on a roll, man. Yeah, I'm just soaking it all in.
You look like you were mind melding.
No, I'm just soaking it in. So
in very remote areas of Blackthorn Lake, we've found things, pretty much old trash, essentially, that has been manipulated by something more recently. We found broken bottles, we found bricks, we found all kinds of things that were left behind by the human inhabitants who have long left the area. And something has found them and decided to kind of decorate the forest with them. And we're finding these, we refer to them as tableaus, I guess, because sometimes they're assemblages of bottles and bricks and quartz pyramids that form some sort of art piece in a way, is what it kind of looks like. So we've been finding these repeatedly, and in very, very remote areas, places that are way off trail. Not that there's any real trails to speak of out there to begin with.
Series of old road beds, but
tomorrow night I've got a little treat for our members, because you guys, our members, have stuck with us through this whole process of us doing this documentary and really focusing on that and getting that hammered out, that I have a special treat for our members. Tomorrow night, we're going to be premiering a full-length, brand new Blackthorn episode for members only. I think we're going to premiere it at about 8 o'clock. It's a 45-minute video, and it's a full-length episode. We find a lot of these very strange tableaus in that video. Afterwards, Joe and I are going to do a members-only live stream where we'll do a little discussion and a little hangout. So if you are a member and you are free tomorrow night and you want to join us for a little Hellbender hangout, we'll be doing that. So we will be premiering that video to you guys at 8 o'clock. Now, it's not a live premiere because we can't do that on the members side. But what I'll do is I'll make it live at 8 o'clock, and we'll all watch it at 8 o'clock. And then we'll meet you guys here, all you members here, for the after show directly after, and we will discuss it. So
and then you've got a standard investigation video that'll be coming out publicly, we think, at the end of the week, maybe.
I am working on that now, but I wanted to go ahead and get this members episode out because I really want to let you guys know I appreciate you guys sticking by us through this whole process of me locking myself in the cave and working on this documentary, this full-length documentary that I did for Small Town Monsters. But following that, yes, there will be a Blackthorn episode for the general public, for everybody. We will do a premiere on that. And that's going to be a Blackthorn episode that is going to knock your socks off.
It's a wild one.
It's a real wild one.
It's a wild one. All right. Couple things here real quick. Okie, let us off tonight with $20. Super sticker. Thank you, buddy. We greatly appreciate that. Followed by our friend at the West Virginia Bigfoot Project. Another $20.
Thank you. Thank you.
And then you know who's rounding it out.
Curtis, don't hurt us.
Curtis, don't hurt us. Curtis Whitaker. Coming in strong.
Curtis, if you ever come to a conference or we run into you, we're going to have to admit, you know what?
I don't know. Like knit him a sweater or something like that, man.
I need to get Curtis's information because I'm going to make him a custom shirt about Curtis.
Curtis, email us.
Yeah, I'm going to make you a custom t-shirt. If you got a mug for the benefit for Bethesda, please contact our manufacturer. There is a return process at the bottom of it. The misprints are being corrected, and you are being sent
new
corrected mugs. And they look good. They look great, actually. It's exactly what we wanted. I'm going to do a little housekeeping here. If you don't have any more of those, I'm going to do a little housekeeping, and then let's roll in to the topic tonight.
Good deal.
Mr. Joseph. I forgot to introduce us, but you know what? Who cares who we are? You know who cares? The Smoky Mountain Bigfoot Conference. We're going to be at the Smoky Mountain Bigfoot Conference July 26th. We're going to be there with Jeff Meldrum.
You had the graphic ready and everything.
Yes,
Good
sir.
Lord.
Yes, sir.
Look who's front and center there.
That'd be Jesse and Joe Doyle. That'd be nice.
Look at that.
Look at that. The first and last time.
Steve Lawson, thank you so much. We appreciate it, Steve.
I also have here, of course, you see Jeff Meldrum, Ronnie LeBlanc, Jonathan Dover, Ken Gerhardt, Jesse and Joe Doyle, Ryan Golembeski. Is that how you say it? Golembeski.
I have no clue.
Beski. RPG. Adam Davis, Cam Buckner, and our lady there. I can't read it. Brittany Barbieri.
Brittany Barbieri.
I'm blind. Even with my glasses, I'm blind. We have the schedule here as well. We are going to be speaking at 11 a.m. and we're going to be discussing the Southern Sasquatch. We've been working on our presentation. It is a brand new presentation. If you've seen us at conferences before, this is going to be totally different. We're not just going to go over our evidence, because if you're familiar with us and you're
every time we try to play it publicly, it just breaks.
It doesn't work.
Nothing works.
Never works. So we've decided we're actually going to do a presentation on a topic. We will have some of our stuff in there, but we're going to bring some new and exciting ideas to the Smoky Mountain Bigfoot Conference in our very own special Appalachian way. And we're really looking forward to that. We're really looking forward to seeing all of you there that are coming out to that. We need to do a roll call on who is coming. So figure out how we want to do that, Mr. Joe. And that way we kind of know who's coming. Let us know in the chat right now if you're coming to the Smoky Mountain Bigfoot Conference. It's going to be Banana Town. My parents are coming, so prepare yourselves accordingly for that.
Prepare yourselves
as well. My parents are coming. MK, I believe, is coming, so it's going to be a hoot and a holler. I know Monica and Bill are going to come, so it's going to be like a Hellbender family reunion, basically, is what we're looking at. So I'm really excited about that. And then the last order of business, last one, final one. On August the 10th, on the Small Town Monsters YouTube channel, my documentary that we have poured our blood, sweat, and tears into over the past few months, The Monster on Morris Mountain, Bigfoot in the Uaris, will be premiering on August the 10th. Mark your calendars for August the 10th. I want to see all of you in that premiere for that. I want you guys to all take a look at that. I'm very proud of what I made, and it is going to, in the words of an unnamed person, be the definitive Bigfoot documentary about the Uaris.
Yes.
So there you go. Joe, you got anything?
I got nothing. I'm pretty much done for the night. I'll see you guys later.
I've been babbling for 15 minutes and you've not prepared anything.
So
where's that rant button at?
That rant at all I've got's this. Cryptic Castleberry says pretty sure I'm gonna do a good job tonight.
I would put money on that.
I would put money on that as well. So topic for tonight that we want to discuss is, why the hell have we or anybody not really definitively found? I always struggle with like proof and evidence, because obviously for those of us that are in the community, we can look at stuff, prints, audio, thermal stuff, and to us that's evidence. Okay,
we can look at something with a little nuance and you can see that it's all about the culmination. It's all about all of these things all coming together to develop a pattern, and that's a pattern of evidence that presents itself as evidence within itself, that you have this and this. It's not just coincident that you're finding all of this stuff.
Well, if it to the scientific community, it is. You know what I'm saying? So
right.
Otherwise there'd be no debate over the existence of Sasquatch, because it would be a recognized, I'm going to say entity, because I don't think it's an animal, but it would be a recognized phenomenon. But we have a pretty unique perspective because we're in the woods pretty much every week.
We have the chigger bites to prove
it. And we are out there with, here's where I say we have a unique perspective on this, because there are a lot of people involved in some way, shape, or form with the topic of Bigfoot. There are people that are extremely well known in the community that give a presentation or talk every week on the subject somewhere, maybe towards a small audience, maybe towards a larger audience, but they're out there talking about it weekly. We are pretty unique because we are out there pretty much weekly in some area that we believe to have activity, and we are out there, more importantly, with the equipment necessary to document it. We've gotten some pretty interesting stuff. We've gotten some extremely interesting audio. We've found some interesting prints. We found what may or may not be hair from something like a Sasquatch. thermal images. We have caught weird eye shine. We have caught associated phenomena like, the balls of light, weird equipment malfunctions, everything like that. What we haven't gotten, though, is a recreation of the Patterson-Gimlin film, up close video footage of something that's undeniable.
Right.
Why is that? And quite honestly,
and especially if people constantly argue that the creature that we see in the Patterson-Gimlin is just a man in a suit, then how has a shot-by-shot precise recreation of the Patterson-Gimlin not been done yet? With the technology that we have in terms of prosthetics and costume technology.
You get to this, that you start to look at the...
Joe, you got to holler on that.
Brandy Crew, thank you, Miranda. We appreciate it. I'll probably be doing some hollering here in a bit. So, the skeptic, the either it's a hardcore skeptic or just like a person who doesn't really give a lot of thought to the topic. And let's make sure that we differentiate between that. You might just have the person off the street who doesn't really think about this topic that much, and you ask them Bigfoot, and they're like, there's no Bigfoot, and they would probably have the exact same answer for any weirdness that you would ask them about. Loch Ness Monster, aliens, ghosts. They probably wouldn't even know what a Dogman is. But then you have like that hardcore skeptic, and that's somebody who is very involved and thinks and talks about the subject every day, but it's to basically mock it. They address it with scorn. They're
in our comment section a lot.
Yeah. So
until they get banned.
But if you talk to them, they're going to just say, well, the biggest thing is always like this, is just that, where is it? Why has no one been able to?
Where are the bones, Joe?
Where are the bones? Why is there not one in a cage? Why can't we catch one? The thing you always get is, well, everybody has a cell phone nowadays, even if they're out hiking. Why is there not up close 4K footage of this proving that it's out there? And to them,
now more than ever, that should be cake.
Well, I mean, you have to look at the tool you're using, but we'll get to that in a few minutes. And it's to them, it's because that doesn't exist, and that's not just handed to them on a silver platter, that means that there's nothing to the Bigfoot phenomenon. And what do you constantly hear from people who know that you're involved in this? You found him yet? Have you found him yet?
Every day of my life.
Every day of our damn lives. Have you found him yet? And, when you start to really think about it, and we actually have a segment on this in our presentation that we're going to be doing at the Smoky Mountain Bigfoot Conference. Our presentation is going to be on the unique phenomenon of Sasquatch in the Southern Appalachians, which, while it shares some similarities with the Sasquatch phenomenon in other parts of the country, most notably the Pacific Northwest, it has its own flavor to it. It has a lot of peculiarities to it that aren't shared in other parts of the country. And a lot of those peculiarities, when you start to really look at it, and if you come to this topic with no preconceived notions whatsoever, and you start to go, well, this is out there. Why don't we have a body? Why don't we have bones? Why don't we have one in a cage? Why don't we have just a ton of video evidence? When you start to really look at the real situation, what you're dealing with, and you don't really know the situation until you're out doing what we do, right, until you're there on the ground with that equipment, trying to do it, all of a sudden, you start to realize why in the hell it's not. Why would it be at this point? Why would it be recognized? Why would we have one in a cage? It's damn near impossible to do it. We ourselves are two reasonably physically fit people who are pretty comfortable in the woods. And we are out there with the equipment necessary to document it. And we have just gotten tantalizing little hints so far.
We've gotten a lot of really crazy stuff.
We've
really
got some
cool
crazy stuff, but we haven't got our smoking gun yet, which is what we're after.
Yeah.
We haven't gotten.
And I don't know if we ever will. I just have this
We will.
I have this fear that we're constantly just going to be just touching it, just barely just tickling the truth instead of, actually grabbing.
That's the name of our new podcast, Tickling the Truth.
Welcome to Tickling the Truth.
Finding the Trackway. Welcome back to the membership.
Welcome back, Finding the Trackway.
Hope you're doing well. But so for this discussion, we're going to focus on what we know. Okay. And you know what? I'm sure that there are people out in Oklahoma, and the Southwest, in the Pacific Northwest, up in Canada, up in the Northeast, who could speak to their own particular
experiences
and situations. But to me, the real big Bigfoot hotspots in this country are obviously the Pacific Northwest, Northern California, up to the coast there, the Southern Appalachian region. You know what I'm saying? And then probably for me, and I don't know whether it's just because the accounts are so dramatic, but Oklahoma, the Oklahoma area. To me, those are the three big hotspots for it.
Yeah.
And we have always talked about how the Pacific Northwest gets the lion's share of attention, and that's because that's where the Patterson-Gimlin film comes from. That's where a lot of the more serious researchers
and that's some of the, I guess, in the timeline of Bigfoot being a part of the zeitgeist, the American zeitgeist, that's where some of the oldest accounts are from. That's where the name Bigfoot came from, was out there, out west. But that's in the zeitgeist. That's where the oldest accounts come from. But those are the oldest known accounts.
Well, here's the deal, is that
publicly known accounts,
is that the term Bigfoot originates from there. The concept of the creature and the creature itself does not originate from there.
Correct.
And that's one of the things we're going to also explore in our presentation, is the fact that, Bigfoot really entered the American discussion after the Jerry Cruz stuff in the 1950s, where those first footprints were originally discovered. And that kind of set off the Bigfoot boom. People were still experiencing these creatures in the Southern Appalachian region. They just didn't call them Bigfoot. Boogers, bogies, haints, all sorts of, in some areas, they would go, oh, we have been plagued by witches. Witches come out of the woods and walk around our houses at night. Witches will attack our livestock. You can't go into the woods because the witches will get you. The witches are often very hairy. They take the form of a beast that's upright and blah, 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 blah. And you hear these stories and you go, if I was to go through this account right now and strike the word witches out and put Bigfoot in its place, no one would know the difference.
And I think a lot of people put their lexicon of today on the words and experiences of people from the past, when they had a totally different lexicon, a totally different understanding. They were experiencing the same thing, but they didn't have the same language for it that we have today.
The terminology, just because nobody started talking about Bigfoot until the 1950s. Yeah, you're right. Nobody started talking about the Bigfoot until the 1950s.
Because the term Bigfoot wasn't a part of the modern American lexicon until the 1950s, 1960s.
That's the same thing as going, well, the Tic Tac phenomenon just only started in the 2000s, because you didn't hear about the Tic Tac before. No, you used to hear about flying propane tanks.
Cigars.
Cigar-shaped craft. The language changed, and then something kind of touches upon that imagination, and people kind of adopt that phrase. And then, like you said, it enters the zeitgeist. It becomes part of the greater conversation for it. But what you have with this is that people have been experiencing the Bigfoot phenomenon in the Southern Appalachians since there have been people in the Southern Appalachians, first with the Native Americans, then with the European settlers that came in. They all experienced the same thing. The names for them are just what changed. And even though our technology has increased to a certain extent, I just don't think it's still to the level that these creatures are going to be easily documented. Okay. And again, for this discussion, we're going to focus on the unique set of circumstances that we deal with in the Southern Appalachian region. And one of the things that we deal with out here is just the geography of the area, the way the landscape is. You've got hollers that are basically almost impossible to reach on foot. I mean,
you have some areas that have not been, there's not been people traipsing around there for hundreds and hundreds of years, if ever, in some of those locations.
And you have got people who, again, right now, the South is going through a population boom. There's a lot of just people relocating from up north and out west here. For the most part, they're going into population centers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you might have some rural areas that are getting a little bit more populated. To us, it seems like the mountains, that when you drive through them, well, there's a new subdivision, there's new this. On the grand scheme of things, they're scratching the surface at this point. Okay. Right. Now, obviously, we don't have the elevation that the Rockies have out west. But think of when you go into, like, say, parts of West Virginia, mm-hmm. and how difficult that terrain is to traverse on foot. I mean, you literally have, in parts of West Virginia, you still have families that, for all intents and purposes, are in the 19th century.
Yeah, something I wanted to kind of bring up, and I'm sure that you'll go into this a little later on in this. You not only have geographical isolation, you have cultural isolation.
Yeah, we're going to get into that.
Joe and I are both from the Southern Appalachian region, and we are very familiar with what kind of person that this area breeds.
Yeah. And
what kind of Scot-Irish,
mm-hmm.
Isolationist person that it breeds, because we are those people.
Exactly. Arcane Discoveries, thank you there. Speaking of the Patty film, a couple Fridays ago, we had a roadside sighting that reminded me of Patty before she turns back and looks at the camera and goes behind the rock. The mass and the color was wild. People are seeing this. And it's Arcane. I don't know if you were able to, like, document it or get any film or not, but I'm going to probably say you probably weren't able to. It probably happened too fast. It wasn't the right distance for a cell phone, or who knows, maybe you're sitting on the smoking gun right now. I hope you are. And then Tanya, thank you so much. Helping your cause. We greatly appreciate it.
Thank you, Tanya.
Greatly appreciate it.
I like that last name, Cupkey.
So the geography of this area is extremely rough in a lot of areas. And it's difficult, if not impossible, for people to get into some of these areas on foot. Now, you could obviously get dropped in by a helicopter, in probably some areas, find an area where the tree cover is not as...
Again, you're putting up these barriers to entry. That puts the bar so high. Okay, so now, in order for me to see this Bigfoot, I need to go schedule a helicopter, get dropped off in there. And you always, one thing that I love that you always bring up, that you need a couple of factors to have that Bigfoot sighting. So in order to have a Bigfoot sighting, you need a Bigfoot, you need someone to have the sighting, and then you need somewhere to report it to.
And then that report has
three barriers already that you get through.
Let's add a fourth in.
Sure.
Then that reporting, the agency that takes the report, whether it's a private organization, government report
has
organization,
to accept it and
then disseminate it to the public. So you've got four barriers.
So you have all of these gateways you got to kind of get through to get that. Not to mention now you've got this physical barrier of how do I get into this area? So how often are people in this area? Not at all.
Well, let's go back to this. If you're getting dropped in by a helicopter, you just alerted anything within a several mile radius that people just got dropped in by a helicopter. You're not doing that quietly.
Now, I'm going to take a moment and get ready for the comments here. Get ready for the comment section. Joe, why do you not have SEAL Team 6 and 300 trail cams?
Well, again, I go back to this, is that when you get right down to it, other than us and a handful of people, who in the hell's out there seriously looking for this? And I'm not talking about having campouts where you talk about it, which is cool.
And has its place within the wider community.
I would love to do that. That'd be awesome. You know what I'm saying? But I'm talking out on foot in a hot spot. 1, 2, maybe 3 people tops. You've got the cameras, you've got the recorders, and you're out looking. You're out looking. I don't even know how to quantify that, but I can tell you right now, compared to the overall population of the United States or even North America, there's when you quantify it, there's basically no one out really looking. Okay. When you look at it, it's such a fraction of the overall population that it might as well just not exist. There's not that many people out looking.
So
When we are
these potential witnesses, this pool, the more you talk, the more you bring these things up, this pool gets smaller and smaller and smaller, you know,
well,
for
again,
potential witnesses of Sasquatch.
well, not even witnesses. It's for the because the sightings are happening. Bigfoot's everywhere, but yet it's nowhere. It's everywhere as far as the sightings and experiences that happen.
That was kind of ominous.
But it's nowhere as far as our ability to actually document it to the point where the government, the scientific community, everything like that, the population at large would have to look at it and undeniably acknowledge the fact that it exists. But there's just, I always go back to that. I'm just like going, why the hell would we have it at this point? If you're dealing, I always go back to this. Eric Rudolph, okay, went on the run. The FBI, the full weight of the American government was after him. How long did he stay hidden for in the wilderness? 5 years until he finally.
I think it was about 4 years. Yeah.
Until he finally just got tired and gave up, just gave himself up. Now, if all of a sudden he had the ability to not only survive but thrive out there, and comfort really wasn't a consideration.
He had never had a cheeseburger, therefore he did not have the cheeseburger desire that drove him to turn himself in.
Our buddy Marcus, thank you for that, Marcus. For every reported Bigfoot sighting, I bet there's only 1 in 50 sightings that ever reported to the public. In the Southern Appalachians,
probably less.
Probably, and this is just a ballpark, probably 1 in maybe 1,000 in the Southern Appalachians gets reported to somebody.
I always go back to my uncle's experience where he saw the red glowing eyes while he was camping with his friends. They were sitting around the fire. He left to take a leak, goes over into the woods, and he sees red glowing eyes in the woods directly in front of him, 7, 8 feet up in the air. And he sees them, acknowledges them, finishes his business, turns around and goes back, never speaks of it again until we ply him with whiskey and pry the information out of him.
Even then,
it was, well, I don't think it was anything. And you can say, okay, let's be as logical as humanly possible. You have red glowing eyes, 8 feet in the air. What are you looking at?
Well, it's not Bigfoot because Bigfoot's stupid. That's what his answer is for it. It's not Bigfoot because Bigfoot doesn't exist. So what did you see that was that tall with red glowing eyes that circled your campsite? And I don't know, but it wasn't Bigfoot. But that's a lot of the mentality down here to a certain extent. Even if they do believe in it, they're not going to admit it to people. So let's just say you strip away the geographic, the barriers down here of the landscape. Okay. Our buddy Deathwish, who we reference every once in a while, and he's got a YouTube channel. Check him out. He's basically a modern day explorer, a modern day adventurer. He's out looking for undiscovered caves, petroglyphs, whatever strikes his fancy that week. He'll be the first one to tell you that, and he's been all over the world, you know what I'm saying? And he'll tell you some of the most difficult terrain to traverse on foot that he's ever encountered.
And dangerous. Difficult and dangerous.
Is in the Southern Appalachian region.
One wrong step and you're never heard from again.
The
and there's a lot of factors that could lead into that, from the wildlife to the terrain. You're looking at mine shafts, caves. You're looking at drop-offs, cliffs. And then you're also looking at the people of the area too.
Well, you've got
that adds a level of danger.
We're a karst landscape for the most part, meaning that there's naturally forming caves and just it's sinkholes. You've got a lot of stuff. The landscape sometimes seems like it wants to kill you when you're out there dealing with some stuff. Then you start to add in. I had a really interesting comment on our channel the other day from somebody from Australia. And I think because we got a lot of Australian hellbenders out there. Yeah. And we had made some comment joking about how everything in Australia wants to kill you. And they made a comment going, we don't have bears, mountain lions, coyotes, coy dogs, feral hogs. We do have some venomous snakes, but you guys have copperheads, cottonmouths, rattlesnakes. He goes, the thought of going into the wilderness in North America terrifies me. And they're right. There's
rednecks who have drank moonshine out of a radiator.
Right. So, but you've got, even if you strip away the geology of it, you strip away the natural barriers, the dense forest. We have a lot of old growth forest in this area, which one of the things as a side note that always gets me, we'll be doing like a video or whatever, and there'll be people going, "You're not looking up, you're not looking into the trees." And I'm like, we're looking for something that maybe weighs 1,000 pounds. I couldn't climb that tree without limbs breaking and me falling to the ground.
Right.
There's a reason why we're not looking up in these trees, because for Sasquatch, at least,
unless you're the jumper, and
unless I was going to say, maybe other things are up there,
something else,
but
very small. Use the trees.
But there's also lots of areas that have never been logged because it's too damn difficult to get through. And those trees, now all of a sudden, you're talking about, you've now got a vertical element to its ability to stay hidden. That's a whole nother like topic. But so you have that, you have the actual just landscape, which really lends itself to something that has evolved with abilities beyond ours to really being able to stay hidden there. Yes. Okay. And not be, people are clumsy in the woods. We need a way to navigate at night. Okay. We don't have the innate abilities. You've got a great sense of direction. You've got like an internal map in your head. Most people don't have the ability to do what a lot of the animal kingdom does, as far as like just use, the Earth's magnetic field to be able to aid in navigation. People get lost in the woods.
I'm a man, not a bird, Joe.
People get lost. Thank you, Larry. Thank you, Larry. We appreciate you. But so this is what gets me, is that when people are sitting there saying, "Oh, there's no Bigfoot," because we'd have one by now. I'm going, you're in the comfort of your own home, or maybe you're in like a bar saying this, but you're not out in the woods. And for the ones who are people who spend some time outdoors, maybe they're hunters who maybe just kind of like go 100 yards from their vehicle to their hunting blind or their tree stand or whatever, and then come back. Maybe they're hikers that follow the exact same trail through every forest that they ever go through and never get off trail at all. They camp. They go to organized campgrounds.
They're present. They're there in the woods, but they're not omnipresent in the woods to where they know what is happening in every corner of that forest. Just because you go to the same location, follow the same trail, you are just looking at a minute part of that wilderness at that point.
You're seeing just and it's easy to avoid you. I mean,
because you're predictable.
You're very predictable. I mean, you go out to like a heavily traveled hiking trail sometime, and just go in maybe a mile, and then go maybe 20 feet off trail and just sit down, wear camouflage clothing, and just sit there motionless and see how many people notice you over the course of the day. And guess what? It's not that many of them are going to. Most of them are just focusing on getting one foot in front of the other, making sure they don't step on a snake, making sure they don't trip on a rock. It's difficult to navigate through the woods, especially off trail. But even being on a trail sometimes is a little difficult. You have to pay attention to how you're going.
Ben Jay actually threw this out earlier. He said so few people percentage-wise even go into the backcountry a few miles, even far less percent off trail. So everybody's picking up what you're putting down.
Let's talk about the URs. A lot of people that we talk to up there are ultralight hikers who go off trail a lot, and they have had strange experiences up there. Now, they might not instantly go, "I heard Bigfoot, I encountered Bigfoot," but they've had something strange that when you hear it, it's not outside the realm of possibility that it could have been Bigfoot that caused that.
Someone that we interviewed that was the initial incident that kicked off this whole documentary that's coming out August 10th on Small Town Monsters YouTube channel. The whole thing, the guy that filmed the thing that kicked off this whole thing of us going up there for months and doing these investigations and capturing the evidence we captured, he captured some of the craziest audio we had ever heard. And we asked him directly, and he was still apprehensive and scared to even take that full leap.
Do you think Bigfoot's in the URs?
There's something
here. There's something here. But real quick, Arcane, side topic, I had some stories come across my desk about coon hunters having their dog's head removed and placed on stakes in the LBL. Good Lord. Along with swimming dogmen on the LBL. Have you guys heard of this? Came from a local. We have heard about the swimming dogmen in the LBL. We have
not heard about the Vlad the Impaler
not anything
dogman
about that
situation.
at all. We have heard stories of dogs being killed in there and, not coming back, but I have not heard the story you're referencing right now. That's wild, man.
That's pretty sensational. I'm surprised if that's happened that we've not heard that yet.
But if you get down to it, that's the other thing too, is you have the natural barriers, you've got the human barrier too, that doesn't really aid in official discovery of Sasquatch. And I do want to kind of, for the sake of the topic tonight, we're talking about like official discovery. When you get right down to it, Sasquatch is discovered almost every day by somebody. Do you know what I'm saying? They may not be able to prove their discovery,
but someone having that encounter, that sighting, that Class A sighting,
and they've walked away changed forever.
That's discovering it technically.
That for them, they have discovered it. You know what I'm saying? For them,
there's no denying what they saw. You can't convince them otherwise. That's something that's completely changed their life forever. And you can't convince them that you did not see a Bigfoot, because when they see it dead on like that, that's something you can never forget or something you can't ever shake.
Marcus Aurelius, just imagine how many times Bigfoot has reported human sightings, only to be laughed at by his furry pals. It was hairless. I've seen it, but you have these human barriers as well. And quite honestly, those are more insurmountable than just the physical, the barriers of the location itself. And again, like I said, if you think of some of the areas that we've ended up in on foot, and we're just going, everybody has this impression of Chattahoochee National Forest. You know what I'm saying? They might know about a campground they go to there. They might know about some trails that they like to hike. You get off trail in there and you don't know what you're doing, you're dead. You're dead. You know what I'm saying? You are dead. You are 10 miles to the closest trail.
There's plenty of missing people's reports and deaths to back your statement up there.
When you look at a map of a national forest and you see the trails outlined, the width of those trails are not to scale. They are much, much, much wider on that map in proportion to the entire area so that you can see them. Otherwise, it would be just basically like you drug a pin through it. Very, very, and even that for most map scales, the trail might as well be invisible. It might as well just not exist compared to the vastness of the area. There is so much of the Southern Appalachians that, people might occasionally go in through, they might be like us out looking for weird stuff. But there's areas that you go into that you just look around and you go, there's probably nobody been here for 100, 200 years in this particular spot. Why would they come here? Unless you're out looking for something that, quite frankly, most people don't think exists. So you've got that human barrier. You've got just the fact that there's just not a lot of people out there. And we're talking about North America's big, man. North America is big. We have areas that we go to all the time. We haven't scratched the surface of them.
Yeah.
And guess what? The surface that we do scratch, what do we always say when we're out walking at night? We're not trying to surprise anything. Our idea is make something curious enough
or pissed off
enough to come and show itself. And then maybe we'll get that smoking gun. And people will go, well, you just stay there and they'll show themselves to you. They might reveal themselves to you in ways, but as far as like displaying themselves clearly enough and long enough for you to get undeniable footage, a modern Patterson-Gimlin film, that obviously ain't happening, because otherwise we'd have modern day Patterson-Gimlin films.
Right.
There'd be a bunch of them, because quite honestly, sitting there and letting them come to me is probably the most tried tactic that people use. And I think that's the other thing too that really aids in this thing staying undiscovered. Even the people looking for it ain't really actively looking for it. And the way we do look for it as an extremely small investigative community, we're getting stuff, but it's inconclusive. A lot of people put out game cams. You see stuff, you don't know whether it was like maybe a part of a bear You have the Jacobs footage, which people don't know whether it's like a bear or it's like a Sasquatch. It's inconclusive. Audio recorders, we go heavy on audio, but even then, you didn't see what made the audio. The audio is interesting, and for those of us who know something's out there, it's another brick in the wall of like of proof. But for most people, it's just unknown audio. I'm talking people out there with cameras capable of capturing footage that at least cannot be instantly, go beyond a blob squatch.
Right.
Okay. There's not that many of us. There's not that many of us at all.
And even for this URI doc, you know, there's a big focus on the audio element. You hear the stuff. So many people report hearing these things at night. We had to put together a specialized piece of equipment and use it in a very, very precise way to capture the audio that we got for that. And that's some of the best audio I've ever heard. But we had to have specialized equipment that we put together, and we had to be out there over and over and over.
And while we're out there, we've got to keep it powered, which meant we had to carry a bunch of batteries with us.
Yeah.
We had to just keep that equipment running to make sure that we had it in use when the opportunity arose to catch something kind of unique.
And then when finally the opportunity arises, you have to keep your wits about you. So you don't have a yell and then everybody loses their minds and then you don't get your audio sample.
Our friend Hawk is one of those few people that are out there involved trying to like capture evidence. And first off, thank you for that, Hawk. We appreciate it, buddy. Had some duck hunters walk right up on me one morning while I was deer hunting. Their dog was growling at me and they still couldn't see till I spoke. They called the dog off there. There's going to be issues. I was in a ghillie suit. So my thing is that there's not that many of us. A lot of the ones who
us in terms of
people out
researchers
like physically,
or
not even researchers, because I was
making a joke about you being amongst the
people out looking with the gear
necessary
to capture it if it happens. Okay. And guess what? Taking that gear out, it's heavy.
It has to you have to charge it.
It's cumbersome. We can't get some of it wet. It slows us down.
And then as human beings, you are also combating that Oz factor. The moment where something happens and even if you've prepared yourself for this, you have run this through so many times in your head, what you're going to do if you have this opportunity, you can never prepare yourself for it. When that thing that is supposed to not exist, even if you totally believe and you know in your heart of hearts that this exists, I'm out here looking for it. You still don't know 100% that if that steps out in front of you on the trail, that you're going to take a camera and you're going to get that image.
Your fight or flight's going to kick in. And when your fight or flight kicks in and, your sixth sense, whatever you want to call it, your body is processing data that you're not consciously aware of. You're processing stimuli that consciously you are not aware that you're picking up on and you're processing. And sometimes that determines whether you run towards it or run away from it. Mm-hmm. Sometimes I think there's other elements that go into that. Maybe you're under some sort of outside influence as to what you do, but we're not going to get into that right now. But so you have a wide open area. You have vast areas that have no population. They're very difficult to traverse. When you can traverse them, you're generating up a bunch of noise. You're not moving very quickly. And quite honestly, there's not that many people out doing it in the first place. Mm-hmm. Okay. The ones who are out that are equipped to be able to capture, let's just say, that video footage, you're moving slower than you would normally.
For sure.
You are working under limitations that you normally wouldn't work under to keep that equipment there. So in case it happens, you're able to get it. So now your very limited ability to traverse this environment quickly and quietly, it's even more decreased than what it normally is. Okay. Now, then you get into some other human barriers that we have. The culture of the Southern Appalachians, like you alluded to earlier, does not lend itself to really talking to outsiders.
Certainly a culture of silence and isolation.
Absolutely.
And distrust of outsiders.
Again, like I mentioned earlier, you have areas where we have seen people that you might as well be in the 19th century when you look at them. You know what I'm saying? Families where probably not a single person in there has a social security number on the books. You know, they've just never, they weren't born in a hospital. They were born in that home. We're from the region. We're outsiders to those people. You know what I'm saying? You're not from there. It's very clannish. It's very insulated. So you have those people. And a lot of times those are the people that live in these areas where these creatures, you know, they're at most often, and they're not talking to people. It's very, very difficult to get people like that to talk to you. And when you do get them to talk to you, they're not talking on camera. They don't want people coming to that area looking for this stuff. And it's not because they're trying to protect these creatures from anything. They know these things don't need protection.
They're trying to protect themselves.
They're trying to protect their privacy, and they want to be in an isolated environment. They don't want people around.
And a good thing to think about with that is a real world example of that was that Bigfoot sighting in South Carolina a few months ago. I want to say it was probably 6 or 8 months ago, because everybody sent it to us. We were not going to go investigate that because everybody, that became so viral, that sighting in South Carolina. Where was it? It was Newberry County?
Newberry County, South Carolina. And it was in November of 2024. A police officer in the area was out hunting on some family property next to a power line cut. And he basically had a, I don't know, 20, 30 feet away, face to face for about 30 to 45 seconds. He's looking at it. The Bigfoot's looking back at him, makes like a grunt and goes off. And he's like going. Now, people that have investigated that know who the person is. He's a cop. It's been verified. He doesn't want his name public. But he saw it. And that story, he reported it. For some reason, that got picked up nationwide and that went viral. Like Jesse said, we started having people contact us. You're from South Carolina. Did you hear about this Bigfoot sighting in South Carolina? Are you going there?
Okay, nope. I've got to address this. Sherry Kelly has asked every 2 minutes for the past 20 minutes.
Okay.
When will there be more field investigations?
They'll be coming. So it's
we've been filming a documentary. We've been going out and filming a documentary that is releasing August 10th. So we've been doing field investigations, doing that. But we do have field investigations coming out on our channel shortly. We've just been working on this major documentary that we've been working on. So there is that.
So we I've lost my train of thought.
I am so sorry.
The
Newberry County.
The Newberry County.
Carry on.
So this guy reported it. He reported it to the BFRO. He reported it to local media. I think he reported it up his chain of command in the local law enforcement office. It got picked up nationwide. So it's hunting season in South Carolina. And now all of a sudden, there are people not seriously going out looking for it, but sightseeing, doing Bigfoot sightseeing coming there. Hunting season got wrecked for the remainder of the year, okay? There were people out going, if you are hunting, please make sure you are extra careful. A lot of these people that are coming here sightseeing for Bigfoot, they're not wearing blaze orange. They're tramping around the edge of the forest. There was a real concern that somebody was going to get shot by a hunter, and it wrecked hunting season. Now, when we talk to people in that area, do you know what the overwhelming consensus is? That the next time there's a Bigfoot sighting, don't say anything, because it kind of that's in a community where hunting is a big deal. A lot of people spend a lot of time and money on it every year.
Totally wrecked hunting season.
Wrecked hunting season, and there was a concern that somebody was going to get accidentally shot by a hunter because they're just running around the edges of the woods with no blaze orange on. So it wrecked hunting season, and people were dealing with trespassing. People were dealing with not purposeful vandalism, but people were trashing private property, going and kind of setting up. I want to see the Bigfoot, you know, going up onto people's private property. There were some tense situations down there. So basically that taught a new generation of people in that area, don't talk to outsiders when things like this happen. Okay. And you see that. Now that's an extreme example, but you see that same mindset all across this region of the South. Don't talk to people. Don't tell anyone what you see. Don't tell anyone what you know. That's something that's only discussed between friends, family, immediate neighbors, and it's not discussed with the outside. Again, not trying to protect the Bigfoot. They don't want people there. These people live in rural areas for a reason. and they don't want outsiders coming in doing exactly what they did in Newberry, trashing the place, trespassing, interrupting their lives at that point. All for something that, quite honestly, they don't want Bigfoot discovered in a lot of these areas. Think about areas where like bison and elk have been reintroduced and the tourism that comes along with that. Okay. Some of these areas are upset about the actual growth that's happened with people relocating to this area from other parts of the country. They definitely don't want all of a sudden there to be some Bigfoot tourism there. You know what I'm saying? They might appreciate the money, maybe.
Well, their infrastructure is not set up for it. And also that's not a tourist destination. What are they coming in there for?
Yeah.
How could they capitalize on that?
Buddy Hawk, thank you again, Hawk. Damn, thanks, buddy.
Thank you,
I'm
buddy.
not a researcher, Joe. I'm an experiencer. I gave up trying to prove they exist. I know they're out there and are smarter than we are when it comes to the woods. We're in their domain and they know every square inch of it. Exactly.
I've got a ton of stuff on the chat there. So just let me know.
Thank you for that, buddy. But you have the culture of secrecy for it. You have areas where even with the growth that's happened, especially over the past like 5 to 8 years, you have areas where there's no infrastructure. There's no infrastructure that's there to allow people to come in and stay for extended periods of time. You have, we've got people that are bumbling around in a football stadium blind, trying to find a grain of sand that's like sprinkled on the football field, and we're wondering why we can't find it. Why has nobody found that yet? Why has that guy not found it yet? This is ridiculous. Why is that person?
I want to know now.
Why is that blind man not found that single grain of sand in, that's on the field of the Superdome? Why have they not found it? And here's the other thing too, like Hawk mentioned, if you do have it, we've talked about this in the past. We're relatively certain we have been probably within 20 or 30 feet of one before and never known it was there.
Right.
Never known it was there.
Scorpius 17, this is about the incident in Newberry. A lot of rural hunters depend on hunting for food, so it's quite serious for them. And it's a very real thing that trespassers will be shot, especially out in the country. Yeah, you are playing with fire with a lot of that. The people that report their sightings, they get ostracized from their community as a result.
Why did you bring this onto us? Why did you bring this onto us?
You brought the plague.
And there's so many factors that go into there. There's the insulated secrecy. Even if you have to still remember that, there are some occasional things where maybe the stars align for whatever reason. I don't think we have the ability to, no matter what we do, surprise one of these things. I just don't think you do. And matter of fact, there was a question here a little while ago. Do you do anything to block your scent? Occasionally, but often, no, not really.
I don't think there's anything we can do that would totally mask our scent 100%. I know that there is measures that deer hunters and hunters go to, but I don't see that being effective.
Even if you mask your scent, you're still making noise getting in there.
And what we're talking about right here is the apex predator. Something that's beyond us at this point.
Thank you for that, by the way.
And beyond our technology.
Well, and here's the deal is that, let's go back to cell phones. I just don't understand why there's not,
William Kennedy says to wear cologne.
High definition. Well, that's the other thing too. You go to some of these things, the Beast of LBL, that's a different entity probably, but there was
speculation that is what drew the beast in, was some sort of novel scent. And that's why we did the werewolf experiments. We brought in wolf lore, as well as those Bigfoot
pheromone chips
that are human and Bigfoot, human and ape estrus.
We have had our best luck walking through the woods at night, talking normally. Sometimes when we use red flashlights, we're doing that not to wreck our night vision. We don't think we're sneaking up on anything. And the whole idea, like we always say, make it curious, piss it off, see if it comes in, and we catch a glimpse of it, and we're able to document it.
Erebus has an interesting one here that I think is great. I used to smoke a cigar when hunting, and the deer would come in curious of the smell and be sniffing the air. So the complete opposite approach of trying to hide yourself in their environment.
Marcus Aurelius, you guys caught a young Bigfoot swing, the jumper
jumper
branches to a very clear Dogman head capture on thermal. The value of off-trail investigations. This mystery will continue for a very long time. Exactly, it will. Believe so. Exactly, it will.
Sure.
But thank you for that, buddy. We appreciate it. But you start to look at all of these factors that go into it that are all against us, and they're all in these things favor. They favor the Bigfoot remaining hidden, and they impede our ability to go out there and get it. Like I was talking about cell phones. Cell phones are not designed to get even like really, really good cell phones. Okay. Cell phone's probably in your back pocket or in your pack. You got to pull it out, unlock it, open your camera app, get it up, take a photo. Even if you practice all day, every day at that. Or even if you're just walking around with your camera open on your cell phone, you're ready to go.
You're hoping for that alignment of time. And
we have cameras at the ready that are made for this stuff. Okay. We have high quality action cameras that are usually running.
Speak of the devil. We were just talking about you today, my man. Moondog Davis.
Moondog Davis.
We were just talking about you.
We literally were just talking about you, I asked if she had seen or heard anything from you. Moondog.
He said these things hear you a mile away.
Literally. You're not sneaking. We catch grief all the time because people are like, they're just talking too loud. And I'm going, do you honestly think that a whisper is good? Do you hear how much noise we're making moving?
We're aware of how loud the leaves are, Joe.
We're well aware of how loud the leaves are. But we're not sneaking up on anything. Make it curious. What are these people doing? I don't usually see. Why do they have red lights like this? What's all this equipment that they've got? I don't usually see people in the forest, let alone at night.
Is that a can of Vienna sausages?
Sausages that they're carrying?
That young lady has?
So, but there's so many obstacles to actually getting it. We are going through the woods with usually a camera at the ready, a camera running constantly, and Jessie usually has like her Jessie cam at the ready to go. Okay. We're mentally prepared for this stuff. We're purposely looking for this stuff. That's why we're there. And even then, we miss stuff. It's difficult. We're not in control of the situation out there. Oh. It's in control of the situation, whatever it is. And to think that just somebody with like an iPhone is going to go out there and just, oh, there's a Bigfoot. Hold on 1 second. Don't move now. You see people taking selfies. When they're taking selfies, like out in public, it's a freaking production, man. All right, hold on, move in. Now, just say you pull it out, snap. Guess what you're going to get? Blobsquatch. It's going to be blurry. It's going to have motion blur to it.
I have something apt. It's apt. Okay, Sarge says Bob Gimlin, the YouTuber, not the deceased filmmaker. I think Bob Gimlin's still alive. Took cell phone video of primates on display at the zoo. They all look like Blobsquatch in the open. It's all cell phone video can manage. Because you've got something that's moving at a rate of speed there. You try to take a photo of it.
You have to have specialized camera equipment. So even, I can't tell you.
Is Roger Patterson dead or is Bob Gimlin? Now I'm confused.
Patterson's dead. Bob Gimlin's alive.
Gimlin lives.
Gimlin lives. So we talk to people all the time who are famous for being Bigfoot hunters. And then they don't have anything they're out there doing what they want to do. That's cool. Our goal is smoking gun. We want the freaking smoking gun. People will go, oh, you guys have caught some crazy stuff. And I go, ain't enough. It's not what we're looking for. It's interesting. It makes us more and more concerned. More and more convinced that eventually we're going to get that smoking gun. We want the smoking gun. We want the modern day Patterson Gimlin film shot in 4K resolution. And then we hope that if we make it out with the footage, and if we don't make it out, somebody finds the memory cards.
Find them SD cards.
Find them SD cards, man.
Ruin Temple says that Bigfoot Society had an elderly man called in a few months back claiming that he and Dr. Krantz drew in a Sasquatch with the gorilla equivalent of menstrual blood, and they had a visual sign.
That's basically, when you get right down to it, what the Sasquatch pheromone chips are. That sort of scent. We've only got a few left that we're going to probably use the remainder this fall and winter because eventually they're just going to dry out.
And nobody likes a crusty Sasquatch.
But that's the thing, is that I just don't think that, I think that you're dealing, you have to be dealing with an anomaly. Mankind lost a lot of our physical senses in order to gain greater intelligence. Okay. We're dealing with something that somehow has a type of intelligence, maybe not the same type of intelligence that we have, but it's equal to or surpasses us in its own way. But it's managed to maintain those sharp senses that the rest of the animal kingdom has kept. And it's, so if you eliminate the scent factor, it's still going to hear you. It might get to the point where it might have a smell sensitivity that surpasses pretty much anything that we know about.
Yeah.
It might.
Again, you don't know what these capabilities are. You're still learning about the capabilities of creatures that we have lived with for millennia at this point, you know?
On top of that, thank you for that. I do appreciate you to have encountered them in First Nations. I can tell you're true. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you so much. But it just gets down to the point where my frustration level, because again, we're out there. We understand how difficult it is. This isn't easy. That's also why I get frustrated sometimes with people who want to, we know people who claim to have habituation going on, who claim to have these creatures on their property on a regular basis, who don't want them discovered or documented and are just like, I'll tell you about it. Can we come out there and film? Absolutely not. Can we mention you? Absolutely not.
Yeah.
Don't use my name. Don't use my location. Don't do anything like that. If you do, I'll lose all trust in you. I'll never talk to you again. They don't want it. And guess what? Those people, I believe those people. We got a cat outside our window.
Did you see that?
I did see her.
Black bobcat.
So then there's other people that have habituation that want to be famous for it. And I'm going, cool. We can come out there and film it. We'll document
They want to talk about it constantly.
Make money off of it, write books about it, speak about it publicly.
And then we're like, great, we will come there. We will film this.
Well, that's really not a good idea.
We'll film you with the
busy
Bigfoot.
That week. You know, I got a lot of stuff to catch up on. I think it's the week I'm doing laundry. Maybe down the road, guys, you know.
I tell you what, though, Lawrence Morgan, you got the idea. Got to wear a wiener suit.
Got to wear that wiener suit. So
when am I not wearing the wiener suit is what I want to know.
Wiener suit is pretty much appropriate for all occasions.
Not on Monday afternoons, but you know.
But so that you look into it, the terrain is against you. There's not a lot of us doing it. When we are out there, we're slow, we're clumsy, we're loud.
You've got the prevailing culture of silence.
You have equipment that, again, I would do a complete gear layout and show you all of our cameras and recorders and everything like that. It'd probably make me sick to my stomach, you know what I'm saying, to look at it and go, that's my life. My God. All right. You
could have had a boat, Joe.
We could have a couple boats, but or vacations, new cars,
honeymoon.
Exactly. So we are constantly chasing this phenomenon with tech, other phenomena too, because we're not just looking for Bigfoot, but Bigfoot. We spend a lot of time thinking of what can we do differently. That's the other thing.
And then if we have instances, say, for example, we hear something. This is how we developed the S3 device. That's the sound stick, the super sound stick that we used in the URI doc to capture the audio that we got. I can't wait for you guys to see this doc. I'm so excited. That's what led to the development of that. We were hearing these vocalizations over and over, and we could not capture them in a real way. Even if I can enhance the audio in post, I did my best to do that. We were not capturing them. So we had to go back to the drawing board. We had to go and figure out what can we use? What devices can we use? What combination, what setup can we use to get this evidence? And it took a lot of trial and error just for us to get that.
And there's not a lot of people in the, let's just call it the research community, who do that.
And think about how many things we missed in the trial and error period.
Oh, absolutely.
Trying to capture
there was this crazy audio that'll never, we couldn't capture it. There was too much noise pollution. It was too distant. We had to do a lot of trial and error, but that's the other thing too. There's not a lot of innovation in this field. There are people that will go, well, I've been researching Bigfoot for 40 years. And they've been doing the same. No, you haven't. You've been researching Bigfoot for a year, but you've just repeated it 40 years. You've done the same thing for 40 years. You get your little bat. And guess what? If that's what you want to do, by all means, and wouldn't it be, guess what? You might end up being the actual person to do it. But we look at it in the fact that if what you're doing is not working, adapt it. Try something else. Start throwing stuff at the wall to see what works, okay? We've got stuff that I thought was a hell of a great idea, and it just didn't work when you tried to put it into practice, and now it just gathers dust on a shelf. There's things that I'll plan out and go, all right, we're going to do this, this, and this. But until you field test it, you don't know whether it's viable or not. And there's not a lot of people doing that. There's like the half-inch wrench guys are doing it. Miguel with Sasquatch theories doing it. A handful of other people are out there just trying new stuff. There's not a lot of that. Okay.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of that. There are people that spend more time figuring out how they're going to cast a footprint, which is cool and it's important, I guess. We don't do it. I think there's enough cast prints out there that if it hasn't changed anything by now, it's never going to change anything.
Yeah. Our friend Todd Damney asks, have y'all thought about camping for a few nights?
Oh, we do that all the time. We just don't, you don't see it because we're not going to. Generally, we have a vehicular setup that we do because a lot of these areas we don't want to sleep in tents. But
I've been over this before. I'm definitely not sleeping in a hammock because I will not be a delicious little bear burrito up there.
Little bear burrito. But it's, so you start to look at everything. And when you go, all of the reasons why you think we should have documented these things beyond the reason, like shadow of a reasonable doubt. When you really look at them, they're not strengths, they're weaknesses. Okay. They're weaknesses. Be quite honest with you. I'd be surprised if somebody was able to really just undeniably document a Sasquatch at this point. I would be shocked. It's because why would we? Why would anybody? It's going to be chance.
The video that comes out that gets captured is going to be a fluke. It's going to be luck. I think it's all going to come down.
But here's the deal: luck. Is that if it is I am a hiker, I am out. I happen to just have my iPhone in my hand. I'm checking to see if I've got signal. I want to check the score of the game. Bam, there's a Bigfoot. I hit the camera button. I film it. I get 8 seconds of it and it shoots off and that's all I've got. I don't have anything leading up to it. I don't have anything after that. Guess what's going to happen? That's AI. That's an AI clip.
It's AI, dickball.
So that's why we run a camera. So we always be recording. Always have something
We learned that the hard way.
I learned it the hard way. That way you have context. The lead up to it. You have context and you have the immediate aftermath.
Yeah.
Which is a lot harder to fake on AI other than a 8-second clip that's on TikTok. You know what I'm saying?
We've even had this discussion that if we capture something that is akin to the smoking gun, but then we have no context whatsoever,
would we even release it?
Would we release it? I think we would really struggle with that.
Yeah, I mean, if we had literally just those 3 seconds of like a Sasquatch looking at you and dipping back in the I would go, everybody's going to think this is AI.
Yeah.
They're going to go, you guys are always recording. You're telling me that this is the time you weren't recording before this happened? You don't understand. The battery pack went dead. We were in the process of changing it out. The camera was getting too hot. We had to let it cool down. And people would go, y'all are full of crap. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You know? So it's difficult. You have, and again, like I said, I'm sure that every region has has difficulties we can't comprehend. But I'm just telling you right here. How many people do we know? And I don't know the exact number on this, but how many people do we know that have had Class A sightings? Sometimes multiple Class A sightings in the same area. And have sworn us to secrecy and will never, ever, ever come forward with it. And if we tried to go into their area to document it, we'd be breaking our word, but they would probably actively try to stop us because they don't want people doing what we do in there.
Right.
Okay. And we won't do that because if we give our word for something like that, we keep it. You know what I'm saying? And it's frustrating. Trust me, very frustrating, but it is what it is. But I just see this and I just go, we're two people and our scope of experiences is extremely narrow compared to the greater population. How many more people are out there that we'll never meet that are having those class A encounters that for whatever reason don't want people trying to document? In some cases, they're afraid of pissing these things off because they got to live there. Some cases, they just don't want people around getting in their business, getting on their property, running around with cameras, doing all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? Some cases, there are some people that go, it's the worst thing for them to be officially discovered. The best thing for these creatures is to just stay a myth to the majority of the population. Okay. It's the safest thing for them. And that may be true. That may not be true. I don't know. But some people have that opinion. And it's not for us to go, well, we're going to break our word to you and break your trust because it's for the best. You know what I'm saying? We're just not going to do that.
We're getting a lot of good suggestions for other researchers that we haven't really checked out. Sasquatch Outpost.
I don't know who that
is getting out there. Jim Myers in Colorado. Awesome. And what's great is a lot of the tech that we use, the reason we're able to use it is because it's available to consumers. It's available for us to order. Some of it's really expensive, but it is not cost prohibitive as it was 10 years ago to do this kind of work.
Yeah.
And I love it. I'm so down that people are out there actually doing the work because that's what we need. We've had so much time of just telling stories and then running this party line for so long that you have people who are technically savvy and interested in the subject and take it seriously, who are going out there and actually doing the work. And I think that the number of people doing that is growing as well. There's a gentleman, somebody mentioned the Sensible Bigfoot Project, that he's pretty clever with equipment. We need to check that out. I'm actually going to write these down.
Yeah, that's one of my things is we're wrapped up in what we do. And unless people really reach out to us and start up a line of conversation, we don't really do a lot of just.
But I think that is beyond cool. That other people are doing.
Well, but here's the deal, though. Even then, let's say there's another 100 people that do this that we're unaware of. In the grand scheme of things, that ain't much. You know what I'm saying?
But all hope is not lost.
Oh, no,
otherwise, we wouldn't be doing this, and we wouldn't be spending the amount of time and energy and effort that we do.
But here's the deal: is that even if there were 1,000 people doing this on a regular basis and they were very well equipped to do it, I always look at this. It's the smaller groups of people that seem to have the best luck doing this. Going out with a large group of people, it just doesn't ever seem to work out. But small groups of people, you can only carry so much, you can only cover so much ground. There's always trade-offs with everything. But you're right, it's not impossible.
Such is life, Joe.
Every year, the technology gets better. Every year, the equipment gets better.
Cameras get better. They get smaller. They get lighter.
The action cams that we're using right now are so many orders of magnitude better than the GoPros that we were previously using. Some of those GoPros, if we had seen a Bigfoot, you would have gone, what is that, a stump? I don't know what that is that I'm looking at. If you've seen some of the more recent videos, you're starting to see that the film quality on a lot of this stuff is really good. The thermal technology is getting better and better and better. The audio technology, the audio collection technology is getting better and better and better. We're getting better and better and better. And I would assume that the other people that are out there doing this are the same way. We're getting better there's no school to go to for this. Okay. You can be a wildlife biologist. You could be a zoologist. You could be, a big game hunter, and you might have some skill sets that would translate to this well. But think about what we do and all of the skills that we've had to learn and encompass in order to approach this the way we want to approach it.
And present it to people as well.
And so it's wild, man. It's absolutely wild. So I guess that's why I get down to it is that why have we found it yet? Why the hell would we have found it yet? That's like so far beyond like winning the lottery or finding that needle in a proverbial haystack. You know what I'm saying?
and yet we persist.
Yeah, because it's not. Here's the deal. It's been impossible for the most part so far. I don't mean all it takes is this. All it takes is this. All it takes is one night or one day we do everything right, and one of these things makes a mistake, or one of these things gets a little too curious, or one of these things just maybe displays some poor judgment. And the next thing you know is we've got something standing there right alongside the Patterson-Gimlin film, something now that doesn't have the detriments that the Patterson-Gimlin film has. We've got 4K footage with context, something happening before, something happening afterwards, and we've got more. And then all of a sudden, we've got something that's not as easily dismissed anymore. You know what I'm saying? That all of a sudden then raises the public awareness and the conversation about this, and then you get even more people involved.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, you get another Patterson-Gimlin film worthy video with context before and after, or this is where I was at, this is what I caught. And then you start getting more and more of those, and then all of a sudden you can't deny it any longer.
Yeah.
Nobody can deny that it's out there. So
Hawk said, Joe, where I used to live at, I had multiple researchers come in from different states. They all experienced things. 2 from Michigan actually got to see a Bigfoot walk past a door.
We just had a cat walk past our window, and we've got 2 phones with cameras and a camera right there that we're doing, and it just walked past. We didn't get that. We couldn't have taken a photo if our lives depended on it.
I wish I could have, though. He was insanely cute. He's
very cute.
Solid black. He's this big and has a little bobtail. It's kitten season. Yeah, and we still didn't capture that. My phone's right here, you know.
Let's see here.
I've got some stuff marked on there, and I'm kind of catching
Hawk asked if I've seen that drone. Yeah, we don't watch a lot of Bigfoot investigative
we
stuff.
did watch the Killing Field.
We did watch the Killing Field stuff just because
we like what they do a lot.
The half-inch wrench guys had reached out to us on some audio they had caught, and so I clipped on it, watched it, and I saw that insane drone that he's got. And then Turdog had asked, have you guys ever had an active investigation in which no tech problems occurred? It's hard to, we're out in the woods, and like the summertime right now, you have cameras overheating.
Yeah.
Because you have to run them on backup
Or,
power.
you know, an interesting problem we had is it's so hot, the sun is so intense out there that the rubber gaskets on some of our stuff they're melting. And
the cameras are dropping.
The cameras are dropping, so you have your mounts and everything, and the rubber gaskets are getting so soft and kind of gooey that the cameras are dropping when you try to set them up.
Chris goes rock check. We do not have the rock in here.
Everybody wants to see
the rock.
Rock. The rock is. I want to bring the rock to the conference.
So, but we found a weird rock in one of these investigations. We don't know if it's iron slag or somebody said it might be a meteorite. I don't know. It's weird. It was found in a weird spot. It was placed. It was just bizarre. But it's just the fact that I guess what I'm trying to say is that if you're somebody who has had an experience, you know it's there, you know these things exist, you know these things are out there, or you're just a believer, you believe for whatever reason that these things are out there, and you run across that jackball who just wants to just dismiss it with no real understanding of what would go into capturing the evidence that they just demand so casually. Don't let that discourage you, and don't let that really kind of influence what you're thinking about or like what you know to be true. Don't start to second guess yourself because somebody who has zero skin in the game and I mean, it's just people, I guess nowadays, advent of the internet, people like to give opinions of which they have no real knowledge on topics they have no knowledge of. They have no expertise in. Every time something comes up, everybody all of a sudden turns into an expert on the economy. It's like when that sub collapsed.
Oh, good night to Lady Wolf, and happy belated birthday.
Happy belated birthday, Lady Wolf. So it's like when that sub, what was that carbon fiber sub that they...
Ocean Gate.
When Ocean Gate imploded, everybody all of a sudden was a submarine expert. You know what I'm saying?
I think that applies to literally anything that is the topic of the day, that everybody becomes an economic expert, a submarine expert, a
Bigfoot expert on why, well, you don't have a body, so it must not exist, you know? Anyway, but like I said, we're going to cover this more in depth on our presentation at Smoky Mountain Bigfoot Conference on the Southern Sasquatch experience. What's going on in this region? It's happening. People are encountering these things, but it's damn difficult to get to the level of proof that most people would need to convince them.
Yeah, or the scientific community at large would require to just say that it's absolutely, you know.
And we actually, I'm not going to mention it here, but when we were filming the Uwari doc, our buddy MK, who was in it, and is probably still in the chat right now, had a really great theory on why maybe we're not finding the bodies like that you would expect.
Yeah, and we include that in the doc, and it's
really
insanely cool. I've never heard anybody talk about this before. We featured that in the doc. It's really cool. Ruined Temple has one. I've yet to see any researchers who've tried to apply the Sasquatch savant theory to their research. It's coming. If not, Joe has already attempted it with dragging me out there now. It's coming, and I think it's viable. I think it's there's been so many things that people have seen when it comes to people of different abilities going out there and possibly connecting with Sasquatch.
I was so far down behind in the chat. The chat has flown tonight, man.
Stitchwitch is here. Hey, Stitchwitch.
What's up, Stitchwitch?
Tell the dude hello.
South Force 10 popped in. What's up? So, yeah, and like I said, I guess what I'm looking at is that if any of you all have, because here's the thing, if you identify the barriers, you can figure out a way to overcome those barriers. If you can identify, well, the terrain is a barrier, what can we do to work around that as best we can? Well, we know that the population in that particular area, they're going to be a barrier. What can we do to minimize that interference? If we know that the equipment is going to be problematic, well, what can we do as far as like changing our equipment loadout to try to up our chances of being to document these things?
Yeah.
Because again, that's the whole thing of Hellbent Holler. We've captured some crazy stuff. We're after the smoking gun. We want to advance this past just cool tales that you tell around the campfire. We want to walk away with something that a reasonable person would have to look at and would have to admit to themselves that maybe they were wrong about the topic all along, and that those people that they claimed they thought were crazy, maybe they're not so crazy after all. That's the whole thing. Smoking gun evidence is what we're after at this point. And if you can identify what's keeping you from getting that, I can't say I 100% know that Sasquatch is there just because I have to look at things logically. I had a sighting of something as a kid. I might have dreamed it. I might have been hoaxed. I can't, if I am just completely honest with myself. Do I think that Bigfoot is out there? Yes. Have I experienced things, and have you experienced things, and have we document things that would support that belief?
Absolutely.
By all means. You know what I'm saying? Until I have that smoking gun footage, until we have incontrovertible physical evidence, you have to leave yourself a little bit of wiggle room. At least we do.
It's called jumper. Sorry.
Exactly. But
the jumper.
We have to. But here's the deal: is that so when I say I know they're out there, I understand that I can't prove it, and there's I'm going to say a small chance that maybe we're wrong.
Right.
Okay. That maybe we're all just crazy.
You know it's true. A lot of people know it's true.
Intellectually,
but
though,
how do the goal is to
my heart knows it's true. My head is 99% sure it's true. But again, I have to go. I don't have that smoking gun.
Classic dilemma.
I have not had I've seen other things that a lot of the stuff that I originally dismissed as being impossible, I know is true. Some of the real woo stuff is undeniably true. Stuff that 10 years ago, 15 years ago, I would have said is just somebody's imagination playing tricks on them. I've experienced it. I know that's true. Bless you.
Jesus, Lord.
Bigfoot, bless
Sorry,
you.
bless me.
But here's the deal. So let's just say for all practical purposes, we know these things are there. Now, what do we have to do to document it? Well, we've got this problem, this barrier. This is something we're going to have to overcome.
And it's constantly evolving. It's constantly problem solving.
Yeah.
And then you get to a certain level, and then you're like, okay, this might be it. This might be the combination we need to get that evidence to get what we need. Nope. You've got to keep working. You got to keep striving. You got to keep pushing forward on it.
Yeah. And Sarge says this, Joe, what you really experience isn't important. It sets you on the search. That's what's important. I said that in the interview I did with Alex Petkoff.
Yeah.
That if somebody hoaxed me back then, I'd shake their hand today, because like, what a crazy journey.
Look what it started you on.
Yeah. Look what that put me on. And guess what? Let's just say that particular instance was a hoax. It led me onto a journey where now I know that the real world's a lot weirder than what most people. That might have been a hoax.
Yeah.
Somebody might have hoaxed me that night, but it led me to experience other things that are absolutely not hoaxes, that are absolutely real. And I know that the world's a lot weirder than most people realize at this point, so absolutely. So anyway, we would like to hear from you guys. And
absolutely.
This is not the typical, leave us a comment below to boost the engagement of the video. This is something that we're putting a lot of thought into, is that what are the barriers here? What is keeping us from being able to like prove this definitively? And I want to hear what other people think, because it might be things that just haven't occurred to us yet. It might be issues that we need to address eventually that we just, because it's very complex.
We have to have some kind of blind spot here. You can go over, there's a problem with the culture. There's a problem with the terrain. There's a problem with deforestation. We're seeing all of these. What is something that we're missing that we could possibly find a workaround to that would maybe help us along in our journey into possibly getting that smoking gun?
Turdog's got a great one here. Did you guys ever want to quit the search? And if yes, what made you continue? All the time.
Yeah.
All the time. All the time. We have had meltdowns where nothing has gone right.
I think there's a weekly quitting.
You break an expensive piece of equipment that you can't afford to like replace at that point. You sacrifice stuff in your personal life. We were talking about earlier, we didn't go on a honeymoon. We didn't have money to go on a honeymoon. We didn't have time to go on a honeymoon. You hit that point occasionally where you just go, I don't want to do this anymore. Mm-hmm. I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to be, it's 1 a.m. I'm working on these damn cameras. I got to be at work in a few hours, like the day job, so I can like eat and have a place to live. I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to do it anymore. But guess what? Here's the deal, though. We've had real experiences. I
think once you've seen the things that we've seen, the things we've interacted with, we've touched the veil to the point. You can't
help but get obsessive. And we're obsessive. We are freakishly obsessive.
No matter how much you want to turn around and
you can't. It drives you crazy. You quit, and then like a few hours later, you don't even realize you're doing it. You start talking about, all right, well, this is what we're going to do next time.
Yeah.
So we don't have to deal with this.
Yeah.
This is what we're going to do next time to eliminate this frustration we just went through. So yeah, we've wanted to quit all the time, but guess what? You can't see that burning light that we saw that night and walk away from this stuff. You can't see those things on thermal that we've seen that we know are creatures that aren't supposed to exist and walk away from this stuff.
Yeah.
You can't deal with those things we saw at the LBL, the lanky, gangly things. You can't see that. Although seeing that kind of makes you not want to do it anymore. But you can't just see that stuff and then just go, I'm going to take up golf. You know what I'm saying? And we'll just have these nagging questions of what is this stuff, like in the back of my mind our entire lives. So
Sarge said, I think if you quit, the phenomena would follow.
I don't know. Maybe. I mean, maybe. So
it's kind of been a part of it's been part of my life prior to this, prior to actually seeking it out. It's always been kind of a part of my life. But, I would hope if I got to the point where I wanted to quit, I would hope it would leave me alone, I guess. But I would have to be driven to that point of extremes where I'd want to quit to that point. We want to quit weekly, but we always come back, we always pitch a fit, but we come back. You can't escape it. You can't walk away from it.
There's no escaping here.
The phenomena reels you in.
All right, guys, we're going to wrap it up. But anyway, if you guys have some stuff that maybe...
Monica! I miss you,
Monica.
I miss you, Monica.
Thank you.
Monica's going to be at a conference with us. You want to do your little wrap up, and then we'll do closing remarks here.
If you guys have got some thoughts on what you guys see as like barriers to like discovery on this, share them with us. Even if it's something we talked about tonight, but you want to put like some input into it, put it in the comment. If you're on our Discord, put it in the Discord. That's not engagement farming. We need some fresh perspective on this. We know that, like Jesse said, there's some blind spots. there are things that we need to address that we're not even thinking of right now, because sometimes you can't see the forest for the trees.
Absolutely.
And we're in this, and sometimes you need an outside perspective.
And Joe and I are so lockstep together all the time that we are kind of in the same line of thinking with a lot of stuff. So a fresh perspective from somebody else would help a lot. So if you do have a fresh perspective or an idea or something you can suggest, throw it in those comments below. Let us know kind of, what are we missing here? Is there something that we're missing when it comes to why we haven't found Bigfoot yet? And it could be a tactical option. You know, there's something within our tactics that could be wrong. But there's a lot of factors that contribute to that, to the not finding of Bigfoot at this point. But boy, aren't we still trying? So lead us out, Jesse. Sure. I thought there was something else there. You were very enthusiastic with that. Lead us on out. So, all right, guys, don't forget, Joe and I will be speaking at the Smoky Mountain Bigfoot Conference on July 26th. That's Saturday, July 26th. That's Saturday after this coming Saturday. One quick thing on that. We are going to be there. Yes. We are not really doing merchandise sales. No. Okay. Because we made a decision that we're really not going to be doing a lot more of these. Okay, these conferences. They're important, and we like meeting everybody, but the documentary and then getting ready for these conferences has really kept us out of the woods more than what we really feel comfortable doing. Yep, and we're only 2 people doing this project, and please try to remember that this whole project is just Joe and I. We don't have a staff. We don't have an editor. I do all the editing. Joe does all the equipment. It's literally just us 2 doing everything for this channel. Graphic design, everything that gets put out, everything that gets done is just us 2, to try to remember that. And we both work day jobs. And we both have jobs as well. To eat and help fund this. We got cats to feed around here. Okay. Like 120 cats. There's like 1,000 cats here. Okay. But just try to keep in mind, give us a little grace when it comes to that. I know that you guys want investigations constantly coming out. We're doing our best. We have been working so hard for this documentary, which is coming out August the 10th on Small Town Monsters. You guys are going to love it. We have spent months and months working on this documentary. This is a very important thing that we have done, and we put a lot of work, blood, sweat, and tears into it. And I think you guys are going to love it. But we are back. We're back working on this project, our project. We do have a Blackthorn episode coming out tomorrow for members. Thank you, members who have stuck with us through all of this. You guys are what make this possible. You guys help fund this project, because this is insanely expensive and time consuming and just backbreaking to do all of this with 2 people. And you guys really make it possible. So we are doing a video tomorrow for the members. Okay. And following up with... Let me finish my thing. We're not doing merchandise at the conference. Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, I went off the rails. We're not doing merchandise at the conference. Because we made the merchandise sales help with what we do, but we kind of want to go to this conference, and like when in the past we've done this, we're trying to help people with like t-shirts, make change, do this. Oh, we can't get the credit card to run, and then we want this conference to kind of go and like interact with people. We want to go hang out. We want to go hang out and talk to people and not have to worry about a table full of like Hellbent holler tchotchkes. Yep. We might have like whatever we've got left, but we're not going to have a ton of it, because the whole goal of this is to go and to kind of like interact with people. We're doing something on our home turf, Smoky Mountain Bigfoot Conference is like one of the big Southern conferences. So we want to go there and kind of like interact with the people that are coming there. So we're going to hopefully be able to spend the vast majority of our time just BSing with people. So just do be prepared if you come there and we're standing there at an empty table. That's done on purpose, because we want to be able to be accessible and talk to people and not have to just, not be like merchants. You know what I'm saying? Merchants. Well, we're field investigators. We want to come out and talk to people about field investigations. We're not going to be running a merchandise shop there. So just to let you know. Blueberry says, I think people want to see The Rock. Crypto Castberry says $100 for pics of The Rock. Good Lordy. I'm bringing The Rock. So anyway, we will also have a investigation video ready for everybody when Jesse gets it done. Very shortly. Yep. This is the big one where you start to see It's gonna be so cool. I'm so
Blackthorn like really kind of like busted.
Let loose.
Yep. We had an experience there that was unlike anything, and I know I'm building it up, but
it's crazy.
My exact words were, "We need to get out of here. This is crazy Bigfoot conspiracy stuff that we're dealing with right now."
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to that. That's going to be a public release, and that's coming soon. I'm working on that right now. I am actually working on that after I get done with this show. I'm going to eat something and go back to working on that so that I can release that for everyone. That's going to be a big release for everybody. The continuation of the Blackthorn saga.
Jeff had asked about that. Now we're having to stop that. YouTube is getting very cracked down on.
Yeah.
YouTube is becoming very, very strict on stuff like that. And that's one of the things, like having like weapons out. I wouldn't think that it would be a big deal, but I'm hearing some horror stories from people who all of a sudden just wake up
and their channels
like gone. Yeah. And you know what? This is the best vehicle for us for right now to be able to share this stuff with people and to be able to interact with the community. So like it or not, we have to kind of like watch out for it. And I'm hoping that if like the stipulations that YouTube has kind of start to maybe hopefully to relax, but there's a reason why we're not doing it right now. And that's why we don't want to wake up tomorrow and then all of a sudden just be like, all right, great. We're off YouTube now.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, thank you for joining us. We appreciate you guys. We're so excited to be back in the running, back running and gunning out in the woods and making cool shows for you guys.
Got a new camera that we're going to unveil. Hopefully that's going to work. Hopefully this is going to like give us some ability to do some stuff that we've not been able to do before. So
Mark Roberts says no cooking shows with knives. That's a different situation.
Different show altogether.
There's a difference. You know that. So, all right, guys. Well, thank you for being a part of the show. We appreciate you guys. You guys are the best. Y'all rock. Thank you for joining us for this. Don't forget to let us know where are our blind spots when it comes to why we haven't found Bigfoot yet. All right, guys. It's time for dinner. The dinner bells are ringing. Thank you guys for joining us, and keep your notifications on. We got cool stuff coming. We're back in the game, kid. All right. Take care of yourselves and take care of each other. Good night from Hellbent Holler.